I thought the worst day of my life was the day my wife died, but I was wrong, because 5 months later, I found her journal and discovered she had been living a life I never knew existed, and the truth I uncovered inside that car hurt more than her death ever did. Hey everyone, my name's Robert. Thanks for being here today. This story, it's not easy for me to tell, but if you've ever loved someone deeply and lost them, only to realize you might not have known them at all, then maybe this will resonate with you. Let me take you back to the beginning. 5 months after Nancy passed away, I finally made the decision to sell her car. It had just been sitting there in the driveway, untouched, like a ghost in plain sight. Every time I passed by it, I felt like I was walking by her memory, and some nights, I'd even sit in her seat, close the door, and breathe. It still smelled like her, lavender and vanilla, like the life we used to share. But that morning I told myself, it's time. I just didn't realize. I was about to uncover something that would shatter everything I thought I knew about the woman I loved. Nancy and I were together for years before we got married, on and off, passionate, complicated. But when it was good, God, it was beautiful. She was strong, brave, the kind of person who made you want to be better. And when she got sick, I dropped everything to be there for her. Breast cancer, stage 4, the words still echo in my head. I held her hand through the chemo, rubbed her back when she couldn't stop coughing. I would have given anything to trade places with her. And then one morning, I woke up beside her and she was gone. No final words, no goodbye, just silence. The days after that, I wasn't really alive, just breathing. I'd stare at the ceiling for hours, pretend to function at work, smile at people when they said things like, "She's in a better place." But my place, it was empty. Her toothbrush was still in the cup, her favorite sweater on the couch, her perfume barely lingering in the closet. I couldn't throw anything away. I couldn't let go. Not yet. Then one morning, I stepped outside with a bucket of soapy water and started cleaning her car. That's when I opened the glove box and found something I hadn't seen in years. A small worn-out journal, edges frayed, leather cover faded from age. It was Nancy's. She'd always kept it private. I never asked to read it. That was her space. But now, she was gone. And part of me, maybe a selfish part, just wanted to feel close to her again. I opened the first page, and it was like time folded in on itself. She wrote about us, our dreams, the vacations we never took, the nursery we never got to build, and then came the doubts I never knew she had. She wrote about feeling like a failure, about losing herself in our marriage, about how I sometimes looked at my phone during dinner when all she wanted was to talk. And then I found him, her ex. She wrote about reconnecting during the hardest year of our lives, after our second miscarriage, when grief had pulled us into separate worlds. She said it started innocent, just messages, support, then coffee, then hotel rooms. I remember reading that sentence and my hand went numb. She wrote, with him I remembered who I used to be before I became just the sick wife. It didn't end there. Even after she got her cancer diagnosis, even when I was driving her to every appointment, shaving her head when her hair started to fall out, sleeping in hospital chairs next to her bed, she was still seeing him, still texting him, still inviting him over. And then it hit me like a freight train. I'd met him. Once, at the hospital, he brought flowers, said he was an old friend. I shook his hand. Her journal ended just a few entries later. Sloppy handwriting, scattered thoughts, but never a confession, never a goodbye, just silence. And in that silence I started to unravel. The grief I thought I had begun to process mutated into something else. Anger, betrayal, a deep gnawing ache that wouldn't let me sleep. She was gone. And now I didn't know who I'd really been loving all those years. I tried to hold it all in. Be strong. Be the guy who says it's okay. She was sick. She didn't know what she was doing. But that wasn't honest. So I started therapy, quietly, just to talk. Week after week I unpacked the weight of loss, of deception, of being the man who gave everything and still ended up alone. And over time I realized something. I could love her and still hate what she did. I could miss her and still feel betrayed. I didn't have to choose one. I could carry both truths. I sold the car. Eventually, I packed up her clothes, donated what I could, burned a few things I probably shouldn't have. but it felt freeing. I don't wear a wedding ring anymore, but I still visit her grave sometimes, and when I do, I bring two things, a single white flower and the journal, not out of bitterness, but because it reminds me of the truth, the full truth, that love isn't always clean, that grief isn't always pure, that sometimes the person you die for ends up breaking you in ways you never saw coming. But even then, you still have to choose to live. Thanks for listening to my story. If you're going through something, please know this: healing is ugly. It's slow, it doesn't come with closure wrapped in a bow, but it's worth it, and you're worth it.